Welcome to the Unfold Yourself podcast with me, Irene Ochoa. This podcast has been long coming, but today, finally, it is here. And if you're listening to me right now, then probably this is what you've been looking for. Because all my life, and I don't know if it's yet over, I've been looking for a specific solution to live a life that is simple, easy, yet full of happiness, joy, abundance, and peace. Unfold You podcast is here to help those who are seeking themselves and want to live their life fully. Fulfillment is the word we use. Well, that's what the Unfold podcast is all about. And as you can see, it's not your typical usual podcast, all done up and everything, because I want you, when you come to this space, to enjoy the simplicity of life. Simplicity is the elegance in everything. The Unfold podcast is for those who are looking to know truly who they are all about so that they can take charge of their life experience and run with it from a place of peace, abundance, and joy. What I'm about to share here and will continue to share here will help you if you really are truly ready to deal with yourself and transform and open up yourself like the flower. And there you realize that everything you've been looking for while you were experiencing life was always with you. The power to live a life that is simple, yet abundant, wealthy, peaceful, happy starts with you. I'll share my journey because whatever I'm sharing here, I have unfolded myself. And I came to realize that for you to find yourself, you have to unfold yourself. And that's why the podcast is called Unfold Yourself. As I speak now, I did the unfolding by myself. All this while I was looking for outside help, outside understanding to get to know me, the real me, the me who came here to live a life fully fulfilled. I have read books, I've gone to school, I've gone to workshops, I've attended seminars, I followed so many people on YouTube, but I still didn't find anyone who could tell me who I was, why am I here, and what I'm all about. But sometime last year in 2024, I think I was the cocoon. Now I'm the butterfly here, fully unfolded, and I'm hoping to share this insight, which is experiential, so that you too could stop running around and wasting time and start to live. This book, Change Your Mind by R.J. Spinner, is what unlocked me finally. And I stopped looking for myself because I finally found myself. And I've since realized life is a do-it-yourself activity. When you don't know the who of you, you will not understand the why of you, and you will not show up in the what of you. The most important question, as long as you're born into this planet Earth as a human being, we're going to talk about that because there's being human and a human being. You'll never know how to handle the reins of life, and so it batters you, it kicks you left, right, and center. I don't know about you, but I have really rode the storms of life to this point. But finally, I'm ready to unfold my story. And I hope, and I believe, in fact, the word is, I know that it too will unfold yourself. So let's begin the story of how you unfold yourself. It begins by asking the question, what is life all about? When you're born into this realm of planet Earth, by parents, of course, you come with a pure consciousness. You are clueless, and your life's experiences are in the hands of your parents. That's the first unit of contact that is defining and deciding who am I, what am I, and why am I? Those are the three critical questions that will explain why you are a being here in a body. So depending on which family you're born into, you're going to find a narrative in the family, the first setting unit of defining your identity, your purpose and reason for being. is given to you by your parents. And each one we know is born to a different situation, wealthy, middle income, or abject poverty. So whatever setting you're born into, that is the narrative they're giving you. I am blessed that I wasn't born in abject poverty, but I can only imagine the story that is told a child when they're growing. Life's hard. You've got to struggle. You've got to fight. That already is telling you how you're supposed to play the script of life. You're born in a middle income family. They tell you you're well-to-do, but you still need to work harder so that you can catch up with the Jones who are up there, the wealthy. Then there's also the filthy rich. So the wealthy, while they have it all, they tell the child, this is yours, but you can do more. Or they can tell you, just go into slumber. We did it for you, just enjoy everything. But there are those who say, you know what, I want to be among the filthy rich. So whichever first unit you're born into, the first identity you're given is life is either a struggle or you have it easy. So that's taken in your consciousness that came so pure and knew nothing and totally clueless. And it's not just the family unit you come into a society, a community, a nation, a village, a tribe. So those are your bigger units of place of existence and experience. In my time when I was born into this consciousness that I am a being having a human experience, which I'll explain later because there's a difference. The narrative that I found was go to school, get good grades, get a good paying job, make sure you work hard and you get promotions because the money can only come to you as you get promotions. And while you're doing it, start a family. Look for someone good looking, or in your case, if you're a male, they will tell you, look, for us who are female, they say, look for a handsome man. And for the male, they say, look for a beautiful woman who will cook and give you beautiful children and set up a family. And while you're setting up a family, accumulate property. You have to have a house. You have to have a car. You have to have extra property, a ranch, a farm. At least in my time, you needed to have at least 2 or 3 homes. One home said that you are not successful. And after that, they tell you grow old, you need to retire, prepare for your retirement, and make sure that even when you die, you leave something behind for your children. I got to a point where I asked myself, because now I've gone through all that process, but every stage in my life, I kept asking myself, is this really what I'm supposed to do? Why? Because as a child, you come with a pure consciousness. Your imagination is wild. Your curiosity is high. But because of the narrative that you found in a place, the first unit where you're formed and given an identity, you dare not question. So the first place where your limits of who you can be, who you are given to you in a family setting. Then as in a community, I said, you will have other pillars. They call them the pillars of living. Well, I'm here to disrupt and I'll destroy them. I'll tell you why. So just bear with me and listen to my story. If you've made it this far, then I'm the right person you're looking for to unfold your life experience. So we have the pillars. A government, which will take care of you. We have religion, which says, I'll take care of your spiritual well-being. Then we have an education pillar, which says, I'll tell you who you can and cannot be. I'll show you where you're weak and where you're strong, and make sure that you target the highest, otherwise you will not make it in life. And then we have exchange, where we get money, trade and commerce, economics or economy as they call it. The place where wherever you're servicing your energy, you will be paid back. And finally, how do we get all these different people to think alike, walk like they're one? You have what they call mass media. Those are the pillars. I know there are many other health and ever, but these are the 5 pillars. We start defining who you are, what you are, and why you are. I'll take an example. The education system tells you you're either intelligent, so you're going to be successful, or you're a failure. You're a fool, and so you're going to struggle in life. You have to work hard and meet that standard, or you're going to totally live a life of abject poverty. You will be a social reject. Then we have religion. Religion tells you that while you're navigating through this course we call life, you're going to need a superior being outside of you, bigger than you, stronger than you, who has to watch over you when you get off course. And there's a catch to it. If you do not obey this superior being while you're living life, you could either miss out on more life when you exit this body that you came in with pure consciousness. And then you have government. I'm here to govern you. I will guide you how to live your life in the collective. I'll tell you where not to go, what to do. I'll provide for you security. I'll provide for you amenities like roads. I'll provide for you the infrastructure. And I'll also provide where you shall come and exchange your energy once you're done with school. But remember, you should have good grades because we only take in the best and those who have qualified. And yes, we also have some special rules, especially if there's a leader in place. You have to obey what they call the constitution of your nation. You either obey or you will pay. There's another identification and limitation where you can and cannot be that has been added on your interaction and engagement in this experience that we call life. And we are so many, each one of us uniquely trying to live a special life. So you have the mass media, mainstream media. Mainstream meaning this is the only voice to listen to. This is the only voice that will tell you what is happening. If you don't hear it from us, it's a lie. So once again, you're told if anything does not come from this source of guiding you or what's going on in the big environment, it's a lie. Only believe this. Another command. And finally, you have trade and commerce. How else are you going to make a living? So your family have told you who you can and cannot be. They have pushed you to school. School has told you you need to work hard or you fail. You have a government who says, I have everything you need in life, but also some rules you have to obey. Stick with them or you'll be rejected. Then we have where you are going to exchange your energy. That is trade and commerce, employment. And employment has to match with the education system, the jobs that are available. In my time, I remember I was told, unless you're a lawyer, unless you're a teacher, unless you're a doctor, unless you're an engineer, I've forgotten the others because I've since moved on, you will not make it in life. You'll not succeed. So score high. The best candidates are the ones who are absorbed into our employment. And whatever happens to the rest, well, I never used to bother about that. So finally, you make it because you followed all the rules and the limitations. You were guided and given a narrative. And that narrative is you are here to make a living. And if you want to make a living, you should follow all the rules and obedience of the pillars that have so far formed you, shaped you, and divined, and that have so far informed you, shaped you, and defined who you are, what you are, and why you're here. And it's all summarized into making a living. I have finally gone through all the things that were required in my narrative. Went to the best school. Thank you, my parents, for doing that. They made sure that I went to the best religion. We'll not mention it here because right now I'm in this space where it doesn't matter. They made sure that I studied well, I got good grades, and I made it according to the narrative, making a living. I took my time when it was time to expand and make a family. They kept asking me, why? Society needs you to have children. You need a hubby. I dragged my feet because that's the point in my life where I started questioning everything. Is this the reason why I'm here? Just to come into a place and I can't explore. I can't try out something that I feel I need to do. Because let's face it, as children, we come with a pure consciousness. We are curious. Our imagination is high. We are still tuned to the true sense of who we are. And I was quite a curious child. In fact, I was the one always in trouble. They say, don't do that, don't do that. Growing up, I always knew what I wanted to be. And I think I'm doing it right now. I always wanted to be full. I think I know I'm doing it right now. I've always wanted to be someone who stands before a mass crowd to entertain, to perform, to teach, to instruct. I love speaking. I love dancing. In fact, as a child, I used to walk on my knees and my toes. And my mom told me, I know you want to be a ballerina, but because of the social construct, I know you want to be a ballerina, but because of the social constructs, you're Black. There's another identity and definition you're giving. And Blacks don't do ballet. It is for the whites. So I dropped that dream. Do I still have it? Yes, I do. But now something bigger came. You see, when we're born into this realm we call Earth, you come with a pure consciousness. You come with your own divine talents and abilities. But depending on the narrative that you have, all of them just drive you to one thing, making a living. But did you know you're actually here to live life? I know some of you are saying, what's the difference? There is a difference. Whatever your mind has been told to be, the who of you, and whatever experiences you've had, the why of you, and anything you have assumed yourself to be, the what of you, came from the narrative that you found in those who had already come into these bodysuits, avatars that we call human. The truth is, you are super than the human. The consciousness that makes you to be aware to experience this is the invisible you. But no one tells you that. I found this out after I read the book by R.J. Spinner, Change Your Mind, because I realized I was living in the mind of making a living. I don't know about you, but as you were growing, did you ask yourself, who am I? I used to, in the wardrobe, I would look myself up and say, am I really ironing? Because I felt like there was another big, much greater, much explosive, much happy, mass expansive. But because I had been given those confines, you dare not ask who you're out. Even in my teenagehood, as I was selecting my subjects for A-level, which was setting me up for a good job, I wanted to do languages, French, English, Spanish. My parents said, no, those want to make a living. You get what I'm driving at? Make a living is the narrative which limits who you are supposed to be, do, and have, and live a life. We'll talk about what living a life is all about. So if you don't ever question the narrative that has told you who to be, you have been folded in by what we call the pillars. I've decided to call them the shackles of living life, because they are telling you to live life in a careful, limited, and at the same time controlled and defined by power outside of you. In my quest to understand why life's experience is boxing me up and down, I have gone through so many places, I've read so many books, personal development books, but none was pointing me to the power that I am it, that decides how I live life, how I have experiences while I'm living life. But now, finally, I know, and so I'm confidently sharing here in the Unfold You podcast that no one is going to let you find yourself but yourself. No one can open up the powerful, formless, immortal being that we all are, having a human experience in a body called human. So because you're not born into a time or probably a family that doesn't have that consciousness, which the collective are doing, you will be given the narrative, making a living. Making a living gives you a human identity. So that's why whenever you run into trouble, you say, I'm only human. Why? Because they never ever brought you consciousness that you are a superior being having a human experience. In fact, all my life until I became an adult, whenever I used to go for funerals, I would ask my parents, where has that person gone? You see, when you're a child, you're still conscious. You know that the body was never the person. The person was the energy, the source, the force that animated the avatar we call the body. And so when they pass on, we've actually not put them to rest. They have set themselves free because they were only limited in the human experience. And so you see, the Unfold podcast is here And I'm speaking from my own personal experience. If you've been looking for why is life boxing me? Why am I here? Because let's face it, this narrative of making a living, how does it end? Oh, and when you die, you go to heaven. But why you haven't yet died? Make sure you secure as I don't know about you, but for me it was Christianity. Because everybody, they're different religions, but all of them, the same underlying whisper is life will only be experienced after you exit the body. And that's how I started questioning, really, if the person who was living in the body isn't life, then how do I get life after I've left the body? Because that's the life that has left. So the podcast Unfold Yourself is here for those who are brave enough to stand up and finally say, who am I? Why am I here? And what am I all about? Those are the people who are ready to come out of the comfort zone that all of us are placed into by those pillars that form our identity. Because after they set the boundaries and the limits, you never look beyond that. You never look beyond knowing the true sense of self and awareness of your being. You're comfortable in the comfort zone. And when you get to the comfort zone and never question, some never make it out. And that's okay, because that's the story of life. But now, as I speak, is the time when many people are questioning their reason of existence. And if you are already shining your light and you don't shine it, then you deny another generation to walk in the unconsciousness of life is all about making a limit. Then you deny another generation, and they walk in the unconsciousness of I'm making a living, and when I die, I'll finally live again. Does that make sense? I'm making a living, and when I die, I'll finally live again forever. That's the catch. And so Unfold You podcast is here to unfold you so that you know the truth of who am I, what am I, and why am I here? And no, the story doesn't end that when you finally leave your body, God is going to give you a special place in a location called heaven. You will know what it means to live life from the consciousness of your true sense of being and aware of your expansive, limitless beingness, rather than living from the comfort zone of making a living. Let's talk about making a living and a comfort zone and how it keeps you unconscious from your true sense of self.